All right, people, what's up? This is Sean Sharon, aka Rhythm Phoenix, aka I go by a lot of shit, but it don't really matter. I'm coming back to you with the knowledge, with the wisdom, understanding, overstanding of who and what we are as everything, as human beings, as souls, spirits, elementals, as microcosmic universes. And today I want to just quickly talk about us as miniature sparks of the divine oneness of all things, divine thought, all right, beingness, you know what I'm saying, and its symbology. And so what we basically are, okay. And when I mean that, I'm referring to the fact that we as human beings carry this faculty of reasoning and intelligence that nothing on the planet, has to our extent. You know what I'm saying? And we, for centuries, have been seeking beings like us in outer space. Hence today the big conformation of ufological sects, people who study ufology. And what the people are doing, they are mixing ufology with what they should be terming the study of extraterrestrial life. You know what I'm saying? And so extraterrestrial life does not pertain entirely to UFOs, because UFOs are unidentified flying objects. And unidentified flying objects are exactly what they are. They are unidentified. And people come with massive amounts of pictures and videos and all this type of stuff. But I delved into that for years, and to me, there has never been definitive evidence of extraterrestrial life that comes outside of our Earth, right? Whether it's coming from the same solar system, same galaxy, whatever, or different solar systems within the galaxy, and coming into our Earth plane and landing with spaceships and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I am not talking about interdimensional beings. I am not talking about spirits with no bodies. I'm not talking about your chakras being manifested in the skies. I'm talking about these people talking about UFOs and shit. And I'm gonna tell you that is a huge, big ass conspiracy theory created by the elite. If you watch the X-Files real closely, which I'm a fan of, and I've watched every episode, all the way up to the new shit, it's telling you really at the end of the day, and Fox Mulder even knows this, all right? Fox, hence the star Sirius, represented knowledge. Dana Scully represents the dome. They both really know this, deep down within. But, if you watch it closely, we're dealing with a huge government conspiracy, dealing with the alien shit. So, it is my belief that these everything that's being talked about by people like Simon Parks and the guy who, what's his name, Eric Von Daniken, and Ancient Aliens and shit. They come with sources of ancient wisdom and things like that, and none of that shit pertains to actual evidence of extraterrestrials coming in and landing on Earth. I can't tell you that they don't exist, because there's all I'm saying is everything that we have been presented, I believe to be fucking phony. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French, but that's just the way it is. You see? That's just the way it is. So, now what I do feel and believe in is dealing with the microcosm, and that everything within is being, or everything that is outside is actually being reflected within us, and we are like the reflective aspect of the universe, of the macrocosm, of all that exists outside of us. You know what I mean? Almost saying that if not one human being existed, none of this shit would exist. You know what I'm saying? We as spiritual sparks of the divine essence, we creating all this right now. You know what I mean? And souls have been continuously incarnating and creating these worlds. These worlds come from within. Everything from matter to a piece of paper, to a toothpick, right? It's all coming from an invisible realm. Hence the creation shit, the realm of ideas. You know what I'm saying? And then the material universe. Something that comes before it that we can't even understand. It's just invisible. You see what I'm saying? And that is our essence. Our essence is of an invisible nature. You see what I'm saying? So what I want to explain to you real quick is that we are incarnated knowledge. We are incarnated wisdom. You might as well, you can say I am knowledge. And everything that you base yourself off of and what you know and everything about yourself is based off the knowledge of what you are, who you are, whatever. And that's dealing with all external knowledge and how the ego operates in this external reality. The true knowledge is dealing with the knowledge of self. Not this selfishness and ego shit. The knowledge of the self that is the self of all selves. Come, as one, which is the beingness of all of us. We are conditioned. Soon we come into the zodiacal belt. We are conditioned in this reality, right? Therefore, you have the baby and this growing up and you becoming who you are. But really, we are all one. We are all one. So, I drew this image here. I know you probably can't see it too good, but that's basically the title of my talk today. The monad of Godhead of the human being of beings. You see what I'm saying? The monad of Godhead of the human being of the human being of the human being of being. See, we're dealing with an individuality thing as well. See what I'm saying? But the individual is of the whole. It's just that everybody experiences this shit differently. You see? So, we are aware that the triangle itself is everywhere. It's the upside down V. V is the third letter in Yod He Vod He, right? The letter A is the first of the alphabet, of the major alphabet of the major languages of almost all the languages. It was the first letter of the ancient Cometian or Cometian or ancient Nubian alphabet of ancient Kemet. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's the first letter of the word Aquarius, right? The age that we are currently shifting into or are currently in, which is the 11th house. Okay. The number 1 is the first number of numbers, right? Okay. The letter A is the first letter of letters. My awareness came to an epiphany of the monad being shaped as a triangle, right? On the dollar bill, the eye that's within this is on the out is really meant to be on the outside, meaning that the capstone is missing on the back of the dollar bill, right? Is really a detached at the top. It's really supposed to be attached, and the eye that is on top of the detached pyramid, right, forming its own pyramid, right, is supposed to actually be within the pyramid as a whole. So the dollar bill trickery is dealing with basically sucking out your glory, your inner self, and being the work of the building block of this reality. So basically you are a slave to this reality. Michael Jackson's song, Slave to the Rhythm. The rhythm of love, the rhythm of Eros, the rhythm of Venus and Mars and shit. You are a slave to the desires and everything like that. You are a slave to this new world order system that has literally placed the control of the planets upon you like chains. Chained to your love. By that one song, Chained to Your Love or some shit. By one of the Jonas Brothers. We are chained like Prometheus to this rock. You know what I mean? of formation. And we are being enslaved to create the world the way they want to create it, right? It is called, for me, the enslavement of your inner self, the enslavement of your glory. Keep your inner self asleep, right? While your egotistical reality is out here operating and has to operate in this manner because you have to make money, and without money you are what is considered broke, right? You are a broken pyramid. You are a broken ziggurat. You are a broken self if you don't have money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they have created the world today. All right, this was not agreed upon. You see what I'm saying? Now, and I'm getting off of my point, but you know, that's the whole key to the damn talk right now is the point, right? The point, the centrifugal figure, the point of all things, the point within the circle, that dot, the dot, that is what you really are, right? And they call that the hidden sun. Okay, the hidden sun is the hidden self that nobody in this reality that operates this reality and loves it wants to know. It's the true God, right? And everyone has it within themselves. Okay, and what they are doing is they are sucking you like a vampire, just taking all your energy, right? Because they have the ability to play with the force of nature, of reality, which is neither good nor bad, but is able to be harnessed and, you know, manipulate energies and shit, man. So I can go on with this list here. Aquarius. All right, my mother's sign is Aquarius, therefore I am a child of an Aquarian. If you want to get down to the traditional zodiac signs, we know they've shifted and shit according to NASA. Now, the letter A is a triangle, also representative of the peak of a mountain. Okay, the peak of a mountain. It is also representative of a thorn, as in a thorn of the crown of the Christos, right? The cosmic Christ consciousness. It is also the symbol of the serpent tooth. Okay, and that's what the key thing is that I'm trying to get my head around, because this is what's amazing to me. Okay, this is what came to me this morning. You know, looking at these notes might mess me up, I don't know, but this is what came to me this morning. Okay, we are all serpent's tooth, and we are the teeth of the Ouroboros, or the Ouroboros, the Ouroboros, right? These teeth, okay, are surrounding the tail of the serpent. The serpent's mouth is full of its own tail. The tail is the tail is actually the tail, the TALE, of each and every human being's experience in life and through the gates of death, right, into higher realities of life, or being recycled down into this realm, this earth realm again, or this 3D realm again. The teeth of the serpent are composites of wisdom. Every tooth of this mythological Ouroboros serpent is a representation of a soul, right? Now, in the book, the Sirius mystery, right here, it talks about how the serpent's teeth is in relation to wisdom. You know what I'm saying? It's in relation to wisdom. It's in relation to the crown, right? It's in relation to the lands of Upper and Lower Egypt. Now, anybody who's read this book, The Sirius Mystery, and, you know, listen, you don't read books to just believe and follow shit that people say. You understand what I'm saying? Robert Temple he is of the Masonic order. This book is written in code. You know what I mean? They don't believe. These people, you know, they might believe and have an affinity of aliens existing and things like that. That's on them. But in all reality, what they believe in more is the interdimensional life and the spirit realm and things like that. And them things being, those entities being able to manifest in the physical realm, right? Hence, you calling them aliens and shit. They coming from other reality. They coming from other planets and shit. But they're not. They're coming from other realities, parallel universes, different dimensions, and different vibratory realms. That's where they're coming from. They embody within this shit, within the human being. So the only place of embodiment for the entities is the human being. Okay? But back to the serpent's teeth, the dragon, all these things relate to the star Sirius is what I'm saying, and the gene of Isis. So, like in the Bible, the gene of Isis is Genesis. It deals with everything from the creation of the world, the creation of man and woman. You know what I mean, as ethereal beings and as physical beings. The breath in the Adamite and him being a living soul. It talks about all that stuff, man. And all that Bible stuff comes from shit before it. They've compiled it together. A bunch of Freemasons and shit did it. All right, authorized by King James, also known as Queen James, because he was a bisexual. A lot of people just say he was straight up homosexual. And there's a couple of sources that I can't get to at the moment who claim that King James was actually a mulatto or a black. You know what I'm saying? Like a light-skinned black person. So, who knows? Either way, the book is authorized by King James, and therefore that denounces any type of spiritual reflection, because it's going to be, if anything is going to play with your soul, you have to go within yourself to understand what the Holy Bible is truly saying, and then you can utilize it as a source. You know what I'm saying? But because as a source, as a literal source, it's nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole section in the Sirius book that deals with sowing the teeth, right? And what Robert Temple does is he goes and he tries to reflect on Robert Graves' work. Okay, I'm sorry, no, that's the White Goddess. That's the book, The White Goddess, Robert Graves' work. But what's going on is that Robert Graves sourced, the Hamlet's Mill as well. But or the Hamlet's Mill sourced Robert Graves' work. So in that book, he's talking about Jason and the Argonauts and the sowing of the serpent's teeth and everything like that. All right. So the serpent's teeth. Okay. There's many symbologies that was utilized in ancient Kemet for the serpent's teeth to represent the earth. Okay. And we also know that Egypt represented the earth in the Gnostic text. Okay. And this is in the book Robert Temple. This is Robert Temple's book. All right. What I'm trying to tell you is this, is that these are also representative of stars. Okay. Stars rising and setting. When the star rose up out of the earth, the horizon, it was meant that it rose up out of the gum of a mouth. You see what I'm saying? Now, whether that was the Ouroboros, whatever, but it was a serpent's mouth. All right, it was a serpent's mouth. So he goes on and on and on about the serpent's mouth. Let me see here. Bear with me. So the serpent's mouth, the serpent's teeth, the jawbone, all right? The jawbone and the teeth of the jawbone, remember that. The opening of the mouth ceremony in the Book of the Dead, remember that. Remember that Isis, who is Sirius or Sothis, is representative of wisdom, okay? And that's in Kabbalah, right? That's in Freemasonry, that's in the Golden Dawn tradition, okay? The Nomo are the fish of the Dogon people who say that they come from Sirius, and they give them all the knowledge and say that we come from the star Sirius. The star Sirius is represented as a serpent's tooth hieroglyphically in the hieroglyphic text in reference to Wallace E. Budge's work. All right? Just bear with me. I know I'm just going everywhere with this shit, but you have to bear with me because this shit is crazy, yo. Okay. The myth of the sewn men in Cadmus' bondage to Eris. Eris is Aries. All right, that's the first sign of the constellation of the zodiac. That he talks about the Pelasgian tribes who claim to be autochthonous. They sprung from the earth. All right, anything that was springing from the earth was representative of a serpent's tooth or a part of a serpent. That Cadmus killed the serpent in the same sense as Apollo killed the python at Delphi. The names of the sewn men were Echion or Echion, Echion, and this meant viper. All right, they were called Echion Udeus, viper or vipers of the earth. Right, be as gentle as doves, yet wise as serpents. You know what I'm saying? So when these heroes are slaying the serpent or the dragon and they're sewing the serpent's teeth into the ground, they are it's very mystical. They are releasing souls out of the wheel of life that they have to continuously reincarnate in, and then they sew them into the earth to manifest as a human being, okay? And they give them the opportunity to no longer incarnate within the body of this huge ass Ouroboros snake, which is the circumference of the zodiac wheel, and gives them the ability to live in a whole different reality, a whole different realm, a whole different existence. Or it gives the ability to reincarnate here to help, like a bodhisattva, whose symbology is surrounded by serpents and snakes, to come down and reincarnate and help us out again. And again and again and again and again. So we can transcend and turn this earth into a trans-dimensional reality, which is what we are the nature of. We are trans-dimensional entities. We are multi-dimensional beings. Okay, so being stuck in this 3D reality is you know, something happened. Something happened. You know, we fell from a higher reality, which might have been the ethereal reality, the real reality. And we fell into a drunken state, into this physical reality, and the remnants of what we were and are within our minds. You know, that's why we can create our own. We have this imagination within us, and we could just everything. The imagination is just amazing. I mean, it's called the imagination because it's a nation of any image that you can create that you want within yourself. But so, you know, the slaying of the serpent and all these heroes fighting, you know, and you thinking that they're fighting in ancient Greece, and you think they're fighting in Troy. All of this is happening, and it's happening on the earth plane, but it's not happening on the earth. Just like when Jesus come back and talks to the people, and he heals the sick, and he heals the deaf and the dumb and the blind. These are the mains, is what Gerald Massey calls them, and these are already deceased souls, okay? And he is resurrecting these souls to come to life, to come to, you know, the Father, the One, which goes back to representing the monad of the Godhead, okay? Which is the symbol of a triangle, i.e. Trinity, which is the serpent's tooth, right? Which is a symbol for the star Sirius, which is Sothis. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. It's so much, man. It's so much. Let me see. The Ark of the Covenant is the same damn thing. It's the serpent's tooth. And what it is you have to imagine an ark as a boat. the triangle with a rounded end, a rounded base, and this being like a canoe, right? Because it's all metaphysical. Noah's Ark and everything is metaphysical. The Ark was the place where all things of the soul was to go into so it can incarnate again in another cycle of the ages of existence in 3D reality to continuously help transcend this shit. Because these centuries for human beings, hundreds of years, are more than likely just days to a soul. You know, we live in the twinkling, we live, you know, and then we die. Life goes by in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, the beingness. Life goes by in the blink of an eye. When you are living, the eye never blinks. It's the all-seeing, all-watching. It is the monitor of all of this. It is the awareness of your beingness. When it blinks, that's when you what they call die. You see? And then when it opens up again, you either hear as a baby or you in a higher reality. That's a whole nother conversation, y'all. You see? Whole nother conversation. Now, in ancient Egyptian, the hieroglyph and word for goddess, this is page 267 of the Sirius Mystery, Robert Temple. The word for goddess also means serpent. Okay? The hieroglyph for Sirius also means tooth. Hence, serpent tooth is a pun on the goddess Sirius. All right? They also, and the thing about the triangles, because they also relate the star Sirius to the sphere of Dot on the Kabbalah tree. Okay? And it is also numbered as the 11th sphere of the Kabbalah tree. The Greek word for the rising of a star also refers to the growing of teeth from the gum. This is what I was referring to. Therefore, when the serpent's teeth were sown in the ground, they grew up from it as from a gum. That is, the star Sirius, Serpent's Tooth, rose over the horizon. Right? So, behind the myths lay concealed meanings which are decipherable by returning to the hieroglyphics and finding synonyms which form puns. And he's using that to argue his alien belief. The alien belief is bullshit. Okay? He's talking about how the ark is related to the tooth, to the serpent's tooth. Argus had 100 eyes and watched over Io, who was connected with Sirius. Traditions, and Isis. Let me see. The earliest Egyptians believed Sirius was the home of departed souls. Okay, Sirius is the serpent's tooth. The Dogon also believed this. The Egyptians said that when a deceased spirit went to Nephthys, he revolved in the horizon and revolves like the sun. I believe that to mean that this deceased is actually the deceased soul who is asleep in the awakening consciousness of the human being on the earth plane. Okay? And Nephthys is the one who has us drunk on the earth plane. Okay? And we have to wake up to our true sister, our true mother, Isis, who is the star representative of the star Sirius, whose hieroglyphic symbol, one of them was a serpent's tooth. Okay, and remember that the dragon is in the Game of Thrones. So, what's her name? Shit. Don't be mad. I am a fan. Don't be mad. The Game of Thrones chick with the dragons, Khaleesi, I believe. She represents Doth and star Sirius. Okay, she is Isis. So. The Egyptians also maintained that emanations from the region of Sirius vivified creatures on earth. Emanations. This too is believed by the Dogon. Okay. In the Egyptian, the region of Sirius is described by a word meaning also throne, and weight, and similar to a word meaning dwarf. Remember the god Bes. All right. Let me see. The base of a triangle, he's talking about the Egyptian word for the beginning of a cycle, which would join up with arc, meaning the end of a cycle, means also oracle. And the front and hind tips of a ship, a vindication of my oracle Argo. The same word also means the base of a triangle. And the word for triangle is a variation of the name for Sirius, whose hieroglyph is a triangle, i.e. a serpent's tooth. Okay. Let's see. More on the tooth thing. Back here he talks about the Nomo. See, we're getting into talking about the Nomo and relating them to particular fish, real fish, the dolphin and this seal-looking and a manatee-looking sea creature called the duogon, which is related to the word Dogon. The dolphins, the scientists have found out their teeth are utilized as receiving sonar reception. Their teeth are sonar receptors. You see, so there's another thing. That's another symbology going on with the tooth, because the monad represented by your higher self, right, which looks like a triangle, an upright triangle, all right, and it's the serpent's tooth, all right, and the accumulation of all of your soul knowledge, okay. That's why it is hence wisdom, and it is in the mouth of the serpent, whose mouth is full of teeth that is biting its own tail, which is the soul's experience of living in this zodiacal realm, part of this galaxy and this solar system. All right. The dolphin and the bat. You see, the bat does this too. Now, I'm not saying that the bat, his teeth are like the sonars, but the bat has sharp ass teeth that look like triangles, look like serpent's teeth, and they create the sounds that bounce off of certain objects to find out what those objects are, because most bat species are blind, right? If I'm not mistaken. Don't mark me on that, because I don't have a specialty on bats, right? So he goes in on that shit, right? And that the Nomo are the communicators of knowledge to the Dogon. Okay? Hence the reception, the receptors, you know what I'm saying? He breaks down the 4 different aspects of the Nomo. We don't need to get into that. But we do need to look at this real quick. This is the Sirigi designs of the Dogon, which they utilize when they are creating their masks. Okay? Now, if you count the one in the middle, you see that there's 7 circles. Excuse me. What you are looking at is the spinal column. The 7 circles are the 7 wheels or 7 chakras, which also reflect the 7 root races and 7 aeons. No matter how many aeons there are, we're dealing with the cycle of these 7 aeons in a whole complete cycle. Like the 7 aeons have a cycle of themselves, all right, and spans many ages, probably millions of ages. At the very top of this can also be found now, because he reflects on Sumerian works and utilizes Zechariah Sitchin works. This can also be found in Zechariah Sitchin's book, The 12th Planet, I believe, right? The 12th Planet, and I think it's called The War of the Gods or something like that, and dealing with how the Africans, the Nubians, were creating these symbols that look like Obelisk. He would call spaceships. I think he called them shams. Called them shams, right? Called them rockets. And so he calling these rockets in the Sirius mystery, right? I might be able to find the picture that I'm talking about. He's calling these rockets, right? Now remember, everybody in the New Age group, I hope y'all still with me. The New Age time, everybody talk about ascending, okay? Ascending. Well, this is the actual image of a metaphysical aspect of ascending. These are your 7 wheels, your 7 engines, your 7 radiating spheres of vortexes, all right, that are on this, that, you know, they lie on your spinal column and are reflected within your ganglia of your endocrine glands, okay? And the Nile River is your spinal column, all right? 7 days of the week, 7 planets, all this reflects this shit, okay? And at the very top is none other than your inner self, your inner glory, your monad, where all of the good things go, right up in there. And when you die, that's what shoots up into the space realm, which is the manifestation. It's the manifested symbol of spirit. Space, the space that we live in, that Earth is in, solar system and shit. It's just a manifestation of the celestial existence that we come from. Okay, so all this alien shit, it's like you are the Anunnaki, you are Anu, you are the Anunnaki, you are the damn Shams, you are the Shemsu Hor, the followers of Horus. Horus is up here in your inner glory, which is Nip Heru. Nip Heru is the house of Heru. All right, or I'm sorry, Nip Heru is the Lord Heru, or the Lord of the spirit of aspiration. The aspiring to rise higher, aspiring to go up. All that shit, man. Right? All that shit, man. It's so much that I could talk about with this. It's very mystical. Very, very, very symbolic. I'm speaking to you and you probably still don't understand what the fuck I'm saying. Right? So forget all that Zechariah Sitchin alien bullshit. It's not real. Okay? We're dealing with your spirit. And Nabiru is Neb Heru. All right, and Neb Heru, it's already been here. It's been here. It's here. It's came. You see what I'm saying? They are hijacking your spaceship. You see, what they call it? Throw your diamonds in the air. Your Jay-Z Rockefeller shit, right? This is all. It's all manipulation. They manipulating you. They manipulate your reality through you. You know, they have to gain power of your mind to gain power of your perception, so you can see shit that they want you to see. You see? This is on top here. That's the Serpent's Tooth. That's also where the soul sits while you are in existence on this realm after it rises out of the solar plexus. If you allow it, which is meaning if you adhere to the prompting to wake up by your inner God, your inner angel, your inner self, whatever you want to call it, your guardian, your holy guardian angel, they call it in the OTO, right? Your inner Anubis, your inner aspiration, your Heru, this angelic entity within yourself is saying, hey man, it's time to wake up, man, change the world. Which is really changing yourself. To change the world is to change yourself. Man in the mirror, Michael Jackson, the reflection. The man in the mirror is the reflection of the macrocosm. That's why if you change yourself, man in the mirror, right? Eminem. If you change yourself, you change the world. It's as simple as that. It's no grouping. There's no organizations. That shit ain't gonna never work. To get to, you know, the coming together of the races and all. It's never gonna work, yo. I'm telling you. This is it. This is the real shit. And they don't want you to know it, man. All they want you to know is, you know, that Akhenaten come from aliens. You know what I mean? Akhenaten your peoples, number one. Akhenaten is your peoples. He the one, you know what I mean? Thank him for creating the monotheistic aspect of Christianity by worshiping the Aten, which is the sun disk. But the sun disk is just a it's a manifestation in reality of your inner beauty. Okay? Heavy information, you see, heavy information. Also, how they say Jesus was sacrificed on the cross, and the Dogon, one of the Nomo, was sacrificed, and his body was spread out to feed the masses. And not only that, his body was spread out to create habitations for the Dogon cults. So everywhere a Dogon lived, and this is 22 cults now. There's 22 Arcanum Trumps, all right? Donald Trump. There's 22 Trumps right? There's 21, and then there's the 0, right? 0 point energy. The 0 is none other than your glory. That's who you really are. And then you become conditioned in this reality. It's in the tarot deck, all right? The word arc is in arc anum, right? Arc anum. Anum is Khanum, Kanum. Kanum can also probably represent the magician in the tarot deck because he's creating the bodies and the reality, right? On a potter's wheel, which basically goes in spirals, okay? And the spiral is in reflection to Orion's nebula belt. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no. I could have pictures showing you all kind of shit. I'm just spitting off at the mouth because I'm feeling it right now. Massive amounts of information, right? Massive amounts of information. The Nomo was crucified on a Kalina tree, all right? A Kalina tree is a source of charcoal in Africa. He also died and was resurrected, okay? Now, think about the sonar, think about water and sonar communicating through the waters and then space. And think about how people say that the NASA manipulates us by creating videos of them rehearsing in water tanks on how to fix the space station and shit. And they are actually not in space, they are in the fucking waters. They're underwater. You see what I'm saying? But the communication of the radio. See, the Ra is the beginning of the word radio. Okay, and then Ra sits at the top of what you are at the top of you. That is your inner radiation. See, Ra. They've hijacked your boat. See, you live in a system known as maritime law, right? So you are Ra, whose boat has came astray because you have manifested into the reality, this 3D realm, and therefore they're giving you a social security number, giving you fingerprints and all this shit, and giving you an identity. They're giving an entity an identity. You see? This is you. This is your boat. This is all that there is of you. This is your boat. This is the boat that comes in and, ahoy, this is, they come in and they manifest as the human being. Jason and the Argonauts. Jason is your inner self and the Argonauts are your inner warriors. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Battle of Troy. All the warriors and the soldiers within the horse that the Trojans built, right, to fool the enemies. The horse represents your physical body, and the Trojan fighters that's within spitting out doing all kind of shit. They fucking up the shit. You know what I'm saying? These are your warriors. You know what I mean? These are your warriors. Okay. They also represent your amino acids. Okay. Within you. Which those amino acids are also in reflection to the 22 trumps as well. We can get into that. And these amino acids, which smell like most of them have a fishy smell, right? A scaly fishy smell that's in relation to the Nomo and Ama of the Nomo of the Dogon, right? Coming from the star Sirius and things like that. Yo, this is very deep. And remember that this fish is in relation to the Christ consciousness. Okay, the Christ consciousness was written down and it was written down and talked about in the book of John of the Gospel of John in the Bible. But there is a book called The Magical Teachings of Ionis that reflects on the fact that the workings that in the Bible they are talking about man and his inner secretions, you know what I'm saying, that help heal him every day and things like that, and help him see the world better. It's just so much. It's like when they use compacted amounts of melanin and create these sunglasses, and they say they got ultraviolet vision, or they say they got this vision and shit. You know, you got to remember, all eyes have pupils, and these pupils are black. And if anything, they are black holes. All right, and they eat light. All right, they eat light. You see, and so when you die, you know, you think that the light at the end of the tunnel is where you're supposed to go through. I believe that the light at the end of the tunnel might be the top of what you are, or something. And it's not that is something that you go through, because if you go through it, what's more likely going to happen is you're going to come out and be born again, right? This is still dealing with the snake and the serpent and the Ouroboros and the tail, okay? And you being born again is called sowing the seed. It's strange that the word, there's two letters, and there's two E's in seeds, there's two E's in teeth, right? You sowing seeds, and then in the mythological aspect of Jason and the Argonauts, or the, what do they call the Cadmeans or something, you're sowing teeth in the ground, in the soil, only for them to resurrect, to rise again about with the stars, which are themselves. Every soul is a star, right? Even today we draw the star as a pentagram, and the pentagram ain't nothing but a bunch of triangles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles, and within the middle of it is the pentagon, or and that is the tetragrammaton, which is the iodhe vodhe in the Bible, and that is your inner being. That is in the Tarot and Kabbalah by Samuel von Water. Okay, so Tahuti is John, right? Anubis is dealing with the same type of shit. Anything dealing with the waters, right? We're dealing with the star Sirius, the waters of space, and the communication, all right? Of spiritual communication. Tahuti An of the Atzlan of Atlantis, of the ancient Kemites, ancient Nubians, all right? Amma of the Nomo, Dagon, you know what I'm saying? There's so many of these water deities. Even Moses is a water deity. You can say Yeshua is as well, because he's a water deity because of the fish symbol. I said Dagon. He wears his whole body is a fish with his head coming out. It's amazing. And then the next sign is the man with the water pitcher, right? The urns of water. Maybe that water is for the monads, the inner monads of the human being, to be able to float on the surface when all the other heavy people, or the people who are caught up in the materialistic world, sink to the bottom. You see, and we are on the surface of the waters, like Vishnu, you know what I'm saying, on the back of Sasha. You see, dreaming this whole shit up, you know, dreaming this whole reality up. You see what I'm saying? So what's under the ocean, you know, where Vishnu, I have a picture of that, you know, where Vishnu and them is sitting, man, you know, sunken ships. A spaceship, you are a spaceship. There's, you know, get rid of the alien shit is bullshit. I don't know what else to say about that. You know, so much information. Real quick, and I'm gonna leave you. To sow a tooth is to sow. Excuse me. To sow a tooth. Excuse me. To sow a tooth into the ground is to sow an axis into a spot. An axis is a pivot, is a hub, is a fulcrum. That's what a tooth looks just like. The serpent's tooth is okay. Let's see if we can find out with this shit. Look at this fulcrum. Look at the fulcrum. Not only are they showing you the triangle and the tip of the triangle represented as the fulcrum, they're also showing you the hub of a wheel represented as the fulcrum, the center of all things. And we know that the letter A has a center, which is at the top, which is like a triangle. And we also know that the pole star is representative of that point that our axis goes around, right? Our axis points to the pole star, okay? And our axis is in relation to our spinal column as well. You see what I'm saying? A thought came to me because it was like, what it is that the Big Dipper, which is Ursa Major, right, pivots on the pole star. And in the ancient times, the pole star was the god, right? And for the Hebrews, the pole star was the aleph. It was the god of the tent. Okay, the tent is the pole, and the point of the triangle is the pole star. It's orientation. It's orientating point. Okay, I thought about something. I said, "Damn, you know, it's a story in let me see, about Buddha, that when Buddha died, Mount Meru, right? Mount Meru cracked, right? Mount Meru cracked, the hourglass shaped. Mount Meru cracked. A Mount Meru hourglass. The hourglass is just like the symbol of the Star of David, just compounded together, right? It also, now the hourglass is also a symbol for the astrophysicists when they are reflecting black holes and the side of the black hole that we might be on. You see, I have drawings of that as well. But where the black hole, or where the central point of this transition happens, is where Mount Meru cracks. Here's a picture of it. This is in the book Hamlet's Mill. Okay. Let me see. There it is. And it's there right here in the corner there. That's Mount Meru, right? And he says that the collapse of the hourglass-shaped Meru caused by Buddha's death, with sun and moon rolling down. The moon shows the hair contained in it. The rabbit, the hair was very important in the hieroglyphic aspects of ancient Kemet. And its sound was so according to the scholars. And so I think that it's amazing that the word moon till this day ends with that. So many collapsing world pillars, unhinged mill trees, and the like have been mentioned in this book, and this is one of the few pieces of pictorial evidences for a crumbling skamba. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about the skamba. I have a source for it, and I haven't dug deep into it to talk about it today. But a skamba, I believe, is just going to be just like an obelisk, y'all. Just like an obelisk. Okay? Just like an obelisk. Says that on page 306 of the Hamlet's Mill, we leave aside the very creation which Timaeus styles like the manufacturing of a planetarium, okay, which is exactly what makes this creation difficult for non-mathematicians, but it can be done without here. What counts is this: when the Timaean demiurge had constructed the frame, all right, Skamha, ruled by equator and ecliptic, called by Plato the same and the different, which represent an X, all right, i.e. planet X, Nibiru, spell it Chai, or he, write it X. And when he had regulated the orbits of the planets according to the harmonic proportions, he made souls. In manufacturing the souls, he used the same ingredients that he used when he had made the soul of the universe, okay? The ingredients, however, being not so pure as before. The demiurge made souls in equal number with the stars, and distributed them, each soul to its several star. Then he talks about, he says that they're mounting them. He's quoting a book, I think. there mounting them as it were in chariots, he showed them the nature of the universe and declared to them the laws of destiny. He's quoting Timaeus. There would be appointed a first incarnation, one and the same for all. The one might suffer disadvantages at his hands. And they were to be sown into the instruments of time. Okay. Now, the obelisk is an instrument of time. Okay, that's what I want to tell you. The obelisk is an instrument of time. Okay, this symbol was utilized by the ancient Kemites, known as the Tekanu, which I believe is spiritual technology. Listen, if you look at it clear as day, it's one of the most ancient signs, symbols, and uses for it is a sundial. Okay. So light and shadow, you see what I'm saying? It's a pillar, all right? So, let me see here. They were to be sown into the instruments of time, all right? The human body is an instrument of time. Each one into that which was meet for it, okay? When you think of meat, think of like kneading dough. Really, what you can think of is Kanum creating the body for the particular, soul. And to be born as the most God-fearing of living creatures. And human nature being twofold, the better sort was that which should thereafter be called man. Okay? That goes back to my flooding thing. So us as these arcs, when the flood comes to get rid of all the bullshit, the ones who are known as men, right, are going to be floating on the waters, seeking for the new land, for the new Egypt. You know what I mean? For the new realm of incarnation into a better reality in this human universal reflective aspect. So, what I'm reading this for is because he says that they were to be sown into the instruments of time. The bin is an instrument of time, and it has been attached to the base of this four elemental reality known as fire, air, earth, and water as a pillar, and on top of the pillar lies the bin stone, which is your inner glory. So you have been sown into time, and around that fulcrum, okay, or which your fulcrum is right here. A lot of people have spirals right here, okay. A lot of people have spirals, okay. That's your fulcrum, okay. And more than likely where you're going to probably leave out of when you leave the body. That's to be argued, okay. Now, then he says, each one into that which was meet for it, and to be born as the most God-fearing of living creatures. And human nature being twofold, the better sort was that which should therefore or thereafter be called man. Okay, and he who should live well for his due span of time should journey back to the habitation of his consort star. All right, think about soulmates. The soulmate shit ain't real either. Your soulmate is your other half that does not descend into the 3D reality. All right, and that's what you loan. That's what everybody's heaven and stuff is. That's what everybody's God and stuff is. You loan for that, and you loathe the separation. You hate that you are separated for something that you really you can't even understand in human terms. But it's what you are. But at the same time, you're this human being who's having a hard time understanding that is what you are, which is a shining star. Or a serpent's tooth, right? Which really means a spark of wisdom incarnated as intelligence or intellect in a physical human being. So this is what I meant by the heaven thing. And he who should live well for his due span of time should journey back to the habitation of his consort star, and there live a happy and congenial life. Okay? You travel back, not not to become a teeth within the serpent's mouth, eating up your own soul's experience and forgetting every damn thing again. Being born with a baby brain. But failing of this, he should shift at his second birth into a woman. And if in this condition he still did not cease from wickedness, then according to the character of his deprivation, he should constantly be changed into some beast of a nature resembling the formation of that character. I believe that represents the zodiacal nature of, you be incarnated in Aries, you're incarnated in Taurus, you're incarnated in Pisces, and you have that nature, okay, over and over again on the wheel of samsara. Until letting the revolution, all right, now revolution revolve, that's the will, until letting the revolution of the same and uniform within himself draw into its train all that turmoil of fire and water and air and earth, the four elements, that had later grown about it. He should control its irrational turbulence by discourse of reason, right? And return once more to the form of his first and best condition. It's amazing. So, when he had delivered to them all these ordinances, to the end that he might be guiltless of the future wickedness of any of them, he sowed them, some in the earth, some in the moon, some in the other instruments of time. It's just amazing, and it goes on and on some more that I don't have any more time to speak on. But that was my point dealing with this. Sown into time, right? And then you have this karma effect, right? You have a karma effect when you're sown into this time. What you going to do with it? What are you going to do with your time? If you don't do enough good, then you're going to end up back here in the hood. When I mean the hood, I mean the shadow realm, the umbra, the shadow of the umbrella. The umbrella is the zodiacal dome over the earth. That's the only way we can say we live in a dome. You see what I'm saying? And that's the zodiac realm. And the center of it is the pole star, which is more than likely the escape. And your alignment with the pole star is called orientation. And this is the physical manifestation of that orientation. That's why when the four, Luke, Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, I believe, with the Christos, when he is walking on the Mount of Olives, he answers the question of one of the mains, how did we pray to the Father? He does not bow down and close his eyes. He looks up and talks. You see what I mean? I'm referring to the movie. You see what I'm saying? The movies, that's where the Kabbalah and the Jewish shit, that's what it's in. So it's not going to be just controlled by the Christian religion. You see what I'm saying? It has the mysticism in the movies as well. Okay. So we've been sown into this reality, man. Okay. And the only way out is to be unsown. It's to be unsown. You know what I mean? It's an amazing understanding once you understand it. Okay? So the fulcrum is the primitive deity. It is the hub. The fulcrum is the point on which a lever rests, i.e. Ursa Major. Ursa Major and the pole star. So when I come back to my next video, I'm going to talk about the Skamha. All right, I'm going to be talking about it from the book, original Sanskrit text, on the origin and history of the people of India. Okay, going to be talking about it from that book, and that's it, y'all. To sow a tooth into the earth is to sow the human being into the human body. The human being being nothing but knowledge and wisdom, unless it has to be born into the body with with a new brain and can't do shit, but have to learn again. That's why in the mystical mythologies, the babies are born, and as soon as they come out the belly, they talking and shit. They got shit to say. You know what I mean? We ain't got shit to say until a particular age, right? That's because that's the seed within the solar plexus that's being born and being flowered, all right, into incarnation, right? So on that note, people, I gotta say Ashe, and I gotta say thank you for being with me this long. You know what I mean? And remember, this is your inner glory, that they are literally sucking you dry. We have to stop it and we have to take it back, y'all. This is to the fulcrum. All right? Peace.